I don't know about y'all, but that line in there that says lover of leaving has always perplexed me in that song. So I need a minister to explain that line sometime. But anyway, my name is Kaya Iverson, and I want to welcome you to the DuPage Unitarian Universalist Church in Naperville, Illinois. Be you watching remotely or right here, we are happy to have you. I'm up here because I'm a member of your Board of Trustees. And in order to keep us all safe, we want you to keep your masks on, except maybe if you're up here talking to the mic. But nonetheless, we're still trying to look after everybody. As you use, we hold that there are many paths to truth and meaning, and we support one another on our spiritual and our religious journeys while we hold ourselves in covenant. There's a rich liberal legacy in Unitarian Universalism. It's rooted in our faith's 7 principles. And those principles guide our actions and help us work to transform the world to a more just and equitable place. I'm sure you can find those principles on our website and a number of other places. And for those of you that have been paying attention, the UU movement is actually reconsidering those principles. We do that periodically. That's because, we want to make sure we're relevant. So that's one of the cool things about being a Unitarian Universalist. So wherever you are, thank you for being here and welcome. And just as a personal note, I really appreciate all the warm thoughts from everybody and the cards and whatnot in the recent weeks since my mom passed. So thank you very much. So now let's have a little fun. Please turn to each other and say something interesting.
I light this chalice today for our third Unitarian Universalist principle. We believe in the acceptance of one another and encouragement to spiritual growth in our congregation.
Good morning. Welcome to this place of love, of communal flourishing. We enter this worship space to open our hearts, expand our minds, and see the sacred within each other. Come, let us worship together. Please rise as you are willing and able in body or spirit, and sing with us hymn number 123, Spirit of Life.
Good morning. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Kevin Mulqueeny. My wife Laura and I have been members of DUUC since 2018. I am a member of the Committee on Shared Ministry and the choir. Laura serves on the YRE and Sunday Services committees. And my two daughters were going to be dedicated this morning until they both wound up sick yesterday. So we'll be rescheduling that for another time. Today is also Laura's birthday, so we were packing as much as we possibly could into today. If you had asked me when I was confirmed about 23 years ago, if I believed in the teachings of the Catholic Church, in fact, I'm sure someone did, since that's the whole point of confirmation, I would have told you confidently that I did. My parents and grandparents were Catholic, and so I was raised Catholic, became an usher, Eucharistic minister, reader, youth group leader, and of course sang in the choir. Being Catholic was part of who I was. And yet, I was never one to accept church teachings as gospel truths. And I thank my parents, my mom's sitting right there, for teaching me to approach all things with a thoughtful and critical eye. At some point, I described myself as a shopping cart Catholic, picking out all the things that I liked and believed and just leaving behind those that I didn't. But that really had set me on a course that I now would call a free and responsible search for truth and meaning. When the Catholic Church no longer fit me, I tried Episcopalianism, more liberal in many ways, Catholic light. But though I stayed for a while, it never really felt like my spiritual home. So it was in the spring of 2017, after celebrating Eleanor, my oldest daughter's first Easter with my family, and having Laura say pointedly, what are we going to say to our daughter when your church tells her I'm going to hell? And so I first stepped into DuPage Unitarian Universalist Church, only about a week later, not knowing what to expect. And I read the 7 principles on the wall of Creeves Hall, and I listened to the service, and something felt different. Something fit different. It was about a year later that we were participating in the Pathway to Membership class that I was asked for the first time that if I believed that God existed, and for the first time in my life, I said, I really don't know. What I did know is that is a perfectly acceptable answer to give in a UU church. And that for once, I didn't feel like I was picking and choosing elements of my faith, but rather I had found what I had been seeking, where testing, exploring, and building your own vision of faith was the rule, not the exception. I'm grateful that DUUC has provided a thriving community as a spiritual home for myself and my family. And I view my stewardship as an investment in that same spiritual home for my children to grow up within. There's a concept in developmental psychology, for those of you who don't know, I do have a PhD in developmental psychology, so this was bound to come up at some point, called secure attachment. And a securely attached child treats their parents as a safe harbor. They may cry when separated, but they calm down quickly and greet them enthusiastically upon their return. This is the goal most parents strive for, and research has shown that when presented with an unfamiliar situation, like being brought into a strange psychology lab, children with secure attachment explore their surroundings more quickly and at a greater distance from their caregiver, provided that they can see them to check back and make sure that everything's okay. The parent is an anchor, a secure foundation that allows for greater exploration of the wider world. For me, DUUC is that spiritual foundation. Live-streamed services and weekly hymn sings during the pandemic provided the shelter of community, even when we were apart, and has only grown and strengthened with the return to in-person gatherings. The leadership of the board and Reverend Mandy has me very excited for the future ahead of us. I know that I have somewhere to share what I find as I go about my search for truth and meaning, and I am invested in making sure we provide that foundation for my children, our membership, and each and every visitor who walks through our doors. Thank you.
Thank you, Kevin, for that moving testimonial of your journey. I'm so glad you and Laura and your girls have landed here with us. Good morning. I'm Ann Ariano, President of your Board of Trustees. In August last year, the board held its annual planning retreat and settled on a vision for the year, coming together to build community. It was a dual nod to our return after COVID and to the fact that we have a new minister and all the high hopes that tag along with that. In our new governing and program structure, what the board's vision decision meant was that the board, staff, committees, and teams take that vision and apply it to goals that will be the focus for their work for the church year. Those goals, then, help leadership and staff begin their unified work of shared ministry within this congregation. One of the board's goals was to hold congregational conversations. as we were as eager to hear from you as you were eager to share your thoughts with us. The board, new minister, and staff needed your input to help us gauge the direction that we felt we should be heading. Your responses from more than a third of the congregation, from all demographics, confirmed that we are on the right track. You quite literally told us you wanted to come together to build community. And you told us what that would look like: personal growth via dynamic Sunday services and enrichment opportunities in classes and forums, deepening connections and friendships in chalice circles and affinity groups, and enhanced intergenerational activities, and a dedicated staff resource to help us with all of it. Leadership, in particular the board, with the assistance and advice from the stewardship and finance committees, is determined to make happen this growth in meaningful interactions and in our ability to share our groundedness here in this UU community. Thus, our goal in this coming fiscal year is to hire a full-time membership professional to help us better engage in this place that, as Kevin says, feels right and fits right, to realize our dreams and to become our best selves. A professional who has the expertise to discern and coordinate and generate interest in opportunities we haven't even thought of. And if you'd like to see a little bit more about what a membership professional might do here, we have a poster in the Learning Center today that will help you understand it a little bit better. So leadership has discussed how it can be done, and we have studied resources to show us that we're not crazy to think we can and should move ahead to pull this off. We presented some of this information to you on January 15th, and we'll be offering another opportunity via Zoom this Wednesday, February 8th at 7 p.m. Furthermore, other churches' experiences show it's a positive risk worth taking, as opposed to the documented and sadder risk of maintaining the status quo and plateauing in programming and membership. We feel that we have the momentum in you, who are all pieces of this puzzle. Are we asking you to stretch, to reevaluate your commitment to this beloved community if you're able? Yes. We know that adding a membership professional, it will be costly, but what is the cost of not addressing the needs of our current members to grow and explore and continue to seek truth and meaning, of expecting new members to figure out how to become integrated on their own, or of holding existing staff back from giving their all within their areas of expertise because they are performing extra tasks better served by professionals experienced in those areas. Conversely, what is the more positive potential return on investment when we have retention of energized members, show new members that we value their foray into our family, and by helping them connect, and show staff that we respect their expertise and insight in the roles for which we have hired them. In January, Reverend Mandy and Steve spoke to us all, adults and children, of finding our center, of becoming grounded. In many ways, the January theme also addressed comments we heard in the conversations that ultimately align with the direction we can and want to head. In this moment, the world needs us to live our UU principles and values as best we can. Your comments made it clear that you want yourselves and this church to flourish as you live your values, as you find meaning and significance, to share connections with each other and be interconnected with everything that is around us as we are continually becoming. We deserve to give ourselves the chance to become, as Kevin said, the spiritual foundation so many people are looking for. In this month of February, the 1-month duration of this year's Promise campaign, we invite you to join your leadership in coming together to build our future. Stewardship had asked all leadership committee members to submit their Promise commitments by the end of January. 27 leadership pledge units, representing 16% of our church-wide 171 giving units, have submitted their stretch pledges with an average pledge increase of 18% for the 2023-24 year. At the end of January, these generous promises totaled 28% of the way toward our final budget goal. We hope that you can believe what we are seeing and believing for this beloved community and evaluate your part reflected in your 2023-24 Promise Pledge. Together, we can build such a bright future. I am so excited. Thank you.
Please rise in body or spirit to sing hymn number 1008, When Our Heart is in a Holy Place. Our vision of beloved community is rooted in the relationships we have with each other, our world, and creation. Each week, we share our joys and concerns. Today's flowers, the lovely ones over here, are from Pat and Doug Coker Cowan in celebration of Pat's dad Wilbur's 103rd year, and the birth of his great-grand twins, Wilbur and Rose. Steve Conant shares some sorrow for the passing of Lynn Bramer, WXRT DJ. And Jackie Duffy Hook has a joy. We are celebrating a few family birthdays this week, Molly's 2nd, Jason's 50th, and Mom's 82nd. May you all celebrate with joy. Even when the cares of the world weigh heavy on us, may we find joy in the connection between each other. Please join me for a moment of silence.
this part of the service, you'll be able to follow along with the insert in the order of service for the child dedication. One of the rights and responsibilities of our church is to dedicate the children who have come into our congregation. This morning, we rejoice and affirm our community covenant with these precious lives. Would Nell and Maxime Hazlitt Bruce, Stephanie and Brian Quirk come forward with your children?
The dedication of our children is a three-part promise. Oops, hang on. I didn't turn it on. The dedication of our children is a three-part promise. First, it is a commitment by parents to guide their children into becoming their flourishing selves by providing a compass towards truth and belief.
Second, it is a commitment by our congregation to support parents in this good and hard work by sharing our time, talent, and treasure to provide renewal opportunities for them as parents and religious education opportunities for these children.
Third, it is a commitment by our congregation to love and nurture these children into a life filled with wonder and wisdom, mercy and justice, compassion, kindness, and love. Together as a community, we promise to support the flourishing of our children. What a great day to live into the possibility to be alongside them as they grow in their faith. On this day, a day when we are pledging our financial commitment to build our future together, our future stands and is held before us. Nell, Maxime, Stephanie, and Brian, in asking for the dedication of your child, you are asking for the support of this community as you embark and continue on your journeys together. For the love of your child, you will be asked at times to sacrifice pleasures, put aside ambitions, and defer dreams. You will need to rely on your own deepest wisdom and to call on the wisdom of others. This ceremony is the expression of your love and commitment to your child and your acknowledgement that all of you are connected to this community and the greater human community. Do you covenant with this community to raise your children in accordance with the highest truths you know? If so, say we do.
We now bless each of our children with a rose. Its beauty expresses our wish that your life will unfold in all its unique splendor. We have drawn the thorns from the roses as a sign of our promise to do all we can to make your way smooth in the years of your tender childhood. This rose has been dipped in the water gathered from the streams of our separate lives, gathered together on Ingathering Sunday in the fall. Your life flows together with the shared life of this church.
Nell and Maxime, what name have you given this child? Coralie Fiona Haslett Bruce. Blessed be your mind that you may grow in wisdom. Blessed be your heart that you may know and act in love. Blessed be your hands that you might help others. Blessed be your feet that you might walk the path of justice and liberation all your life. You may have it. Yeah, take it. Brian and Stephanie, what name have you given this child? Beatrix Sophia Quirk. Blessed be your mind, that you may grow in wisdom. Blessed be your heart, that you may know and act in love. Blessed be your hands, that you might help others. Blessed be your feet, that you might walk the path of justice and liberation all your life. That's for you.
I now invite any siblings, grandparents, other family, and special friends of these children and parents to stand.
You represent the circles of kinship and friendship that surround these children. In the years ahead, they will look to you for guidance and for a deeper sense of their own identity. They will come to you wanting to know that whatever journeys they take, they will always be a part of your circle. Do you commit to stand with their parents and help these children know that they are always beloved? If so, say, we do. You may be seated.
I now invite all of the children and youth to stand.
Yeah.
All the kids. You have a special part in this. You have an important part to play in these lives. Just as others have taught and loved and protected you, you will be asked to teach and love and protect these children. So I ask you these questions, and you can wait to answer them at the end. Will you teach these children to respect all people as yourself would wish to be respected? And will you show them how to be fair and kind to others as you yourself would wish to be treated? If you will, please answer yes.
Thank you. You may be seated.
Then these children will grow to be your friends and to respect and share with you as they learn.
Would the congregation now rise and join in this act of welcome by reading in unison the words on the insert in your order of service or on the wall? To you, dear parents, we wish to pledge our support for your role as parent. We promise to walk with you as you guide your children on their journey to truth. We will offer you support when the way becomes challenging. We welcome you, dear children, into the community of your church home, a place for your individual search, your faith, your doubts, your failures, and your accomplishments. We pledge to teach you to embody our 7 Unitarian Universalist principles. We pledge to give you the building blocks for which that you might flourish. And now let us rejoice in the abiding love that sustains us all. And may every blessing with these children, their families, and with all those who care and love them. May this be our wish for every child. Amen.
We will now sing a hymn. However, as we're singing it, I would like to invite all the kids, children, and youth, some adults that might want to help, to follow me out, and we're going to do a special activity in Creeves Hall all together. And then after the service, the adults can join in and have fun with us too. So please stand in body or spirit. for hymn number 1030, Siyahamba.
Good morning. Giving of our treasure is how we reciprocate the many gifts we are given by this community. Your contribution supports the programs and operations of the DuPage UU Church. Giving is also how we live our values in the world. Each month, we share our offerings with an organization nominated by the congregation and selected by the special offering team. In February, our special collection will benefit the Tom Galloway Scholarship Fund at College of DuPage. Tom was African American, a president of our congregation, and our congregational poet. This scholarship supports African American students at COD. The DUUC Special Collection pays about a third of the annual tuition for a scholarship recipient and can also be used to obtain access to computers, purchase textbooks, or help with living expenses. Tom died in the year 2020. We have been doing this now for 23 years. Thank you. The offering is given and received in a spirit of generosity and gratitude.
Have you ever been in love? Deeply, truly, head over heels kind of love. The willing to sacrifice, to work hard for someone else kind of love. Long-term commitment, not happy every day, but in it for the long haul kind of love. Maybe it was with your partner, multiple partners. Maybe it's your parents, a good friend. Maybe it's the first time you held your child. I find the word love to be a rather ambiguous term. More so because the English language only has one word for love, which we use for so many things. I'm guilty of this. I love that dress. I love that idea, but do you really love that dress? We have a whole month devoted to love and the love holiday, Valentine's Day, but with no real substance attached. Chocolate, cards, flowers, candy, of course. I suppose this might sound somewhat cynical, but with the newly proposed Unitarian Universalist principles in the Article 2 Study Commission's report being centered around love, I'm on a mission to better understand what it is that we Unitarian Universalists mean by the word love. In a society that loves its fillers, easy fixes, and superficial abundance, whom and how we love matters. Adrienne Marie Brown, in her book Pleasure Activism, lists some ways that we have been loving people in our modern day society that have not been super helpful. It includes the following list, which I found thought-provoking. We have been loving by defining love as an obligation. We have been loving by framing love as a product we give one another. We have been loving as we frame love as a limited resource, and we prioritize romantic love over self, comrade, and friend love. Do these ways of love ring true to you? They did to me. Love seems to be commoditized. We work love as if it is a profit and put it away if it disappoints us, pushes us too hard to change, or comes in forms that we were not anticipating. The way we treat love in our society is likely why I struggle with the Article 2's proposal to center love in our new principles as a faith movement. This is not the kind of love that I want. This is not how I wish to love others. Love is not a commodity to be bought and sold. But more so, that kind of love is not a love that any of us deserves. Adrienne Marie Brown writes, "What we need right now is a radical, global love that grows from deep within to encompass all life." That global love that encompasses all life, including love of the self, well, that love sounds a lot like flourishing, doesn't it? The way I understand love is that love is one of the reasons that we flourish, and when we flourish, we can love. So let me tell you a love story. A love story that's not about commodity or obligation. A love story that's not romantic, but one of comradeship and beauty. A little over a year ago, I read this document that introduced me to someone. Well, really several someones. It was similar to a dating profile. It told me a people's history, their identity, their hopes, their dreams, their fears. It told me of a peoples who, in the midst of deep adversity, loved themselves enough to protect themselves, to put systems into place that let them begin a path of who they wished to become. This document intrigued me. It made me want to get to know them better, and I did. I got to meet with some of them. I had a lovely weekend chatting away with a small group of these people, seeing their city, touring their building. At the end of the weekend, on my way home, I turned to my partner in the car and I told him that I loved these people. I loved them head over heels, deeply, truly, willing to sacrifice long-term commitment, not always happy, long-haul kind of love. I told him that if I didn't get a chance to know them better, that I would be brutally disappointed. It was you, by the way. All of you. The document I read was your congregational record, the small group of people, the ministerial search committee, the weekend, pre-candidating weekend in March. I let my heart open to the risk that you might love me back, that we might be a good fit for ministry together. This is my love story. It's a love story based on mutual flourishing. And from our first meeting, I deeply felt your wish to flourish as a congregation. I still want you to flourish. I want to see you embrace your possibilities. I want you to grasp your future. I want to see Coralie and Beatrix here in 30 years dedicating their own children. Yes. In the weeks after that car ride home, while I had to wait for the pre-candidating weekends to finish, and we can talk about that very long, lengthy process another time, I agonized about getting my hopes up too high. I rationalized myself into scarcity. And make no mistake, scarcity is the enemy of flourishing. It tells us that we are not worthy, that there is not enough love to go around, that abundance is not real. Scarcity is an insidious foe, worming its way into our hearts, stealing away joy, pleasure, and love, the building blocks of flourishing. In the midst of my scarcity, my oldest child shared their wisdom with me. They told me that the love and the hope that I felt for you was real, that to ignore it would be disingenuous, that I was going to be disappointed whether I let myself get my hopes up or not, and that I should just embrace the love I felt towards you all and the love I felt shared with me by the search committee. And so I did. I let the beginnings of that love flourish. I wrote love notes to you all during that time, things that I felt for you, knowing that it might lead to disappointment, but willing to take that risk anyway, because I love you, and hope outweighed the risk. You shared part of your dream for flourishing this past fall with your leadership. It's a dream rooted in love and flourishing. It's a dream that encompasses connection to each other, rootedness in our faith, and justice for our world. It's a beautiful dream of flourishment. It would be easy to let scarcity hold the final word. It's too hard. There's no way we can increase our financial giving together or individually. Let's not get our hopes up. That way we won't be disappointed. But you will be disappointed if it doesn't happen, even if you can rationalize the reasons why. But beloveds, I fell in love with you because scarcity did not overcome you in the midst of your hardships. You are proof that love is stronger than scarcity. Love and flourishing is this congregation's legacy, its foundation. You all loved each other through a tough ministerial transition. You all loved each other through a pandemic. You all love each other each and every day. I see how you care for each other on our Joys and Concerns Facebook page. I see how you show up here to commit yourselves to our families and our children, our future. The Promise campaign is a stretch. It's going to be tough. But even in the midst of this, your board and leadership are embracing flourishing rather than scarcity. They are working on creative ways to fund our dreams, including applying for a grant. You are a vital part of flourishing, whether you are able to stretch your pledge for the coming year or maintain what you are currently giving. Flourishing is more than money. Flourishing is about the support that you offer your board, your staff, your time, and your talent. It is also possible in the economic moment that we are in at this time that you could be struggling. Please know that you are always welcome to come and speak to me about having a waiver. We need you, each one of you, as part of this community. Your leadership has already committed to our future through their pledging, and with stretched increases even at a difficult moment. They believe, I believe, that our flourishing is worth the risk. Our love deserves to flourish for ourselves and for our future. Amen. Please rise as you're willing and able to sing hymn number 131, Love Will Guide Us. You may be seated. I wore the wrong earrings today, sorry. There we go. Our future cannot be built by one person. It will take each of us. And in that spirit, I invite you to build our future together, not only through your pledge, but also through a puzzle pieces. As you leave, I would ask that you take a puzzle piece and bring it to Creeves Hall and write your name on it, because each and every one of you is vital to making our dreams happen. And then you can stay. You can stay to build the puzzle. You can stay to work on our environmental justice project of sorting through bottle caps so that we can make a bench outside. Or you can join us for coffee hour in the Learning Center, and there are fabulous treats thanks to Karen Hutt. Yes, some great donuts up there, and scones and muffins. And the office will be open. Sherry Regalado, our administrator, will be there, as will Linda and Lindy, who will help with any questions you might have about pledging or financial giving. Oh, friends, I am so excited. I am so delighted that our love story has a happy ending. Our love story is not finished yet either. May love guide us into our future, today and every day. Amen.
We extinguish the light of this chalice, but not the light in our hearts. Until we meet again, may the warmth of our community carry you.